Hey guys.
Hello!
So up here in Wrkshp, we're of course always improving things, and there's something I have to do for some of my boards that I'm working on currently. I need interconnects between them. I'm going to use ribbon cable for this, but a ribbon cable needs to be stripped and soldered down to some SMT headers. So Peter gave me the idea that maybe I could do it with something like this. This is a thermal stripper. These get hot. So basically the idea here is you take your ribbon cable and you put it in between these little guys, and that allows you to pull off just the vinyl insulation.
Or you could get your girlfriend named Addie and have her do them individually.
No, because you'd have to pull them apart to do that. So there's
True.
that. And as you can see, there's still a little bit left on there. So I've got some other blades here, and we're going to modify these blades and hopefully get it to the point where it can really scrape all that off. And these blades will replace those little wire loops. Alright, so there's that step of it, and we'll go to the other part of the bench to show you the other part.
Okay.
Following in the theme of things that get hot, here's the second part of this system. We have a solder pot here, and this gets hot enough to melt lead if it's on, and you set the temperature to the right spot, and you cut off some solder off of this big bar here, and you can melt that in there. And you add a little bit of flux, and then you can dip these in the end to tin them.
It's like solder fondue.
Yeah, solder fondue. And then you can use a flat tip on your iron to actually solder those right to SMT pads. But we didn't have a flat iron. This is the one we use in our Hako. It's a very fine tip because we need to have that here every day, all day long. So we ran into an interesting situation. A company that sells soldering stations offered to send us one to try out. So we're going to go check that out.
Cool. And now finishing solder fondue with whisker. Alright, so we got a package from the DIYoutlet.com. And so we're going to take a look at what it is. Looks like it's a SMD rework station. So let's see what we've got in here. Styrofoam! Instruction manual. Put that aside, ignore. Looks like a soldering iron thing, holder.
Just keep pulling stuff out so we can get the box out of the way.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Whoa. Lots of other stuff. Okay, so this it has SMD rework, solder station, and power. Oh, it's a power supply too. All in one. Alright, so power cord. We've got fine tips. Soldering iron. Probes. What is this? What are the probes for?
We'll find out.
Gotta read the instructions. It's a DC power supply. You can do 0 volts to 15 volts. And I don't necessarily see the amperage, or the amperage. Ooh, this is the hot air gun. Oh, look at that! Goot wick.
Solder wick.
Solder wick. And then a whole, this is just makes it worth it. This is a whole bunch of different iron heads.
Tips.
Tips, yep. So we got thin ones, we got flat ones, we got blades, we have roundish ones, we have super fine tips. Wow, this is great. This is perfect. It's mine. I'm kidnapping it, Whisker.
And here would be the tips for the air pencil.
Okay. Why are there different tips?
Well, here's your air, right?
Yeah.
So that's for different types of.
Oh man, Lurfs.
That's for different types of chip packages. See this?
Yeah. Oh, clever!
You got some for round stuff, but that one will go over a chip for desoldering things on your. Like the other day, I had to take off that chip off of your.
Oh yeah. My LM31914.
You
chip.
put a chip on in the wrong orientation.
I did. Alright, so. Let's see about connecting this baby together.
See some screws here. Oh, there's some on this side. There's matching holes over there. So it looks like this could mount on either side.
Okay, here's a solder iron.
Those are Phillips.
So it can test voltage and output display. I don't know. What do you want to do? Test voltage? Output display? Which one? I don't know, but I'll just stick it in there for now. And then this, I don't know if it has a bracket or not. I don't think it does. I think it's just separate.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got,
That's probably
Isn't
a
that a
good
great
tip
tip?
for what we're doing.
it's an awesome tip. Alright, so we're gonna move this to the workbench, right?
Yep.
And,
We'll set up and do some stuff with it.
cool.
So this thing evidently has somewhat of a voltage tester and is a little benchtop supply. So I'm going to check it with my Tenma. I got 5 volts set there and I'm reading 5.1 there. Go to 3.3, 3.37. So it's within about 0.1 on my Tenma. Let's see what my base. So Tenma's reading 0 once it's dialed in. Oh, not bad. This will be handy. Makes it really easy to.
And you know you'd only have to correct by 0.1 volt. Yeah, about 0.1.
Cool.
What's the other side for? Do you know?
That's for testing the voltage, right? So you'd put a voltage in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Does this one put in a put out a voltage?
No, but we've got Winston over there that we can use to test it.
Ooh, that's cool.
So give me a minute.
All right. All right. So we've got Churchill up here, our power
Winston.
supply. Whatever. Winston Churchill, our power supply. And looks like you've got probe wires going from there to the Tenma. And it's reading at about 5 volts.
4.98
Okay.
is what's coming out of here. So I'm going to shut this off and use it to feed the test input on this guy,
Okay.
which I haven't used yet, so, you know.
Wait, don't you want to... Oh, never mind. Haha. You know what you're doing, Whisker.
Generally. So this we just created a reference voltage there.
But you gotta flip the toggle.
Right, test voltage, and I'm on the test side.
Ooh.
Its reading is 4.9. Now notice if I move this, it doesn't change.
Right.
Because we're actually...
Just testing it.
So it's really
that's
close.
handy.
And if I turn this, we should see it change.
I don't remember what it can. What's the max voltage it can handle?
30 or something like that.
Cool.
28.
Which is about what we do.
So
That's awesome. And this I think can handle 1 to 3 amps. So very nice.
very handy having a little meter and power supply right on the soldering station. We'll have to use it for something and get that just showing it actually powering something. But not yet. First we got to build some boards.
Okay.
Soldering.
Yep.
So Addie is going to put some solder paste on one of our NPN8 boards. And then we're going to try to use the air on the rework station to reflow solder this board. So we'll see how that goes. But she's got to put all the little bits and pieces on there first. So we will be back. Okay, so it's doing its automatic cool off. It's got the safety feature where it cools down, but when you pull it away, it warms back up to whichever temperature you set it to.
Oh, cool.
I just set it to 300, and now that its dot is flashing at the end, that means it's actually trying to hold that temperature correctly.
Ooh, and you can turn down the wind too, so you don't blow all the pieces away.
It's useful when you're trying to reflow little fiddly bits.
Do you see anything melting so far?
Not yet. We normally just do this in our reflow oven, but we thought this would be a pretty good test of the ability. There they go. Camera picking that up?
Not really.
Well, it's definitely doing its thing.
Any bridges so far?
Well, I don't know until I take a good look. So that's actually faster than using the reflow oven. Just so we're clear for those of you who don't do this sort of thing regularly. That was really fast. That should automatically cool itself off. And then once the lines go to dash, 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 that means it's cool enough that you can actually shut off the fan. This is just blowing cold air through there right now to cool off the heating element.
Oh, that's cool. That's a nice feature.
Yeah. I think my standalone unit does that too.
Does it really? I never noticed it.
Very similar controls, but this is all built into one thing. Instead of needing 4 different tools, you've got it all here, which is kind of cool.
I like it. Are you gonna wait for it to go all the way down? Well, I guess you can show the air.
If I turn up the air, it should cool down faster. Physics.
Bam.
You just turn that off and you're back to there. Now let's see if we can find something that we actually need the soldering iron here to use for fixing.
Okay. Alright, Whisker, you wanna do me a favor? No bridges. Slower, slower, slower. No bridges.
Yeah, that did a pretty good job.
Cool. Nicely done.
Even that resistor array, which is tiny,
The most
tiny
difficult one.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me take a look.
Okay.
Okay, so Addie dropped one of the boards when she was taking them out of the oven. And you can see that top transistor, one of the pins is up in the air. And down here there's another one that's up in the air. One of them actually fell off the board, so I gotta fix that. And then a couple of the pins on that resistor array don't have enough solder to have actually made their connection. So I'm gonna use the new rework station and fix all those problems.
I think both of them can work at the same time.
Well, I'm waiting for that other one to do its thing. Just warm up this transistor and hopefully it'll fall down onto its pads. Oh, there's that one fixed. There's that one fixed. I'll grab the one that's missing. That in place. There's the transistors all repaired.
Alright, so we're letting this warm up. We brought it over here to the scope because Whisker needs a bit more magnification before he can see what he's fixing.
Working with the tiniest of tiny stuff here.
Yep. Alright, what have we got?
There's solder braid here.
Mm-hmm.
Good wick. I'm gonna try to remove a bit of solder.
I'll see if I can get closer here. YIHUA.
Okay.
Yep. 853D, and it's available on the DIYoutlet.com. They
So
kind
what's
of
their
have
price tag on it?
like 100 something.
Okay.
It's less than 150. I know that much.
Okay. So my thoughts on it, I just used it to reflow a board and fix some solder stuff and tin some wires and a bunch of other stuff. My main thoughts on it after actually putting it to some use are the hot air gun is absolutely fine. The soldering iron, I'm used to using one that costs as much as this whole unit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's really fair, but for normal soldering, it's fine. For what I do, I don't know.
The temperature gets up really quickly.
It does.
And there's a
It gets hotter
really
than
good
mine.
set. Yeah.
It gets hotter than the Hako, and it gets there really quickly,
Yep.
which is good. And it comes with a lot of extra tips, which is good.
Right.
I would need to use it more to
Get a better feel.
Yeah. But basically, my thought is it goes along the lines of something like this. So you start adding things up, right? This right here is power supply that can cover the same DC range that this can. Now this is a linear regulator, so this is going to be a little bit cleaner. But we had to build this ourselves, right?
Right.
Okay, and there's a big transformer, a big linear, regular, and all that. This is probably, you know, $60 to build.
Yep.
Right? This is the meter we use for on the bench stuff.
Yep.
That's like $100.
Yep.
It's right there.
Not including the probes too. And
Yeah,
these actually
another-
come with probes.
Another 12 for
Right.
those probes because I got fluke probes on there.
Right.
And then this, there's another 70, you
Yep.
know, to get the air covered.
Yep.
And then here, I think you can't buy this model anymore, which is sad because this is awesome. But that's like 120 bucks.
Yep.
So 120 plus 70 plus $100 plus about $60. That's what it cost us
$350.
to do
What this does.
the basic functionality that that provides to
Yeah.
cover the same thing.
Yep.
So in that regard, yeah, I'd say it's a good thing.
That's awesome. I really like it. I like that there's a power supply. I like that there is a voltmeter. I like the hot air gun. The whole like stick it on there and it cools down. That's a cool feature.
Yeah.
Apparently it's in the one that we already have.
Yeah, mine does the same thing.
I guess I just didn't notice it.
See, watch. I turn it on, it doesn't do anything. Pick it up, it turns on, you put it on. Cools itself
Yeah,
off,
that's
right?
true. Yeah. So that's a neat feature I just didn't know about.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's nice to be able to change the airflow.
Mhm.
The temperature setting that's digital is nice. I think I was impressed. And the other thing is that I'm really glad that there are a whole bunch of awesome heads for both the hot air gun, because these are great for like QFPs and such. And then
I'll definitely use a few of them that came with that soldering iron, that's for sure.
yeah, it's really useful. And then I love that there's so many different types of tips, you know, with flat ends, pointy ends, blades. I mean, that's really useful for all of our soldering needs. It was a surprising, I mean, it surprised me. I liked it. So thank you to the DIY outlet. We'll put a link to where you can get this if you're so interested. And if you have any questions about it, let us know. And yeah, I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll see you guys next week.
bye.
We post videos all the time, so don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter at TYMKRS.